Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. I'm Kalikaiz. Today I'm doing the data dump. This is a look into the Pauper metagame, what happened for the last full month of Pauper leagues. I haven't been doing a ton of these league recap videos. It's a lot to get all that data going, but I struggled through it. We got all the information from the Magic Online 5.0 dumps. I've got the metagame as well as so many decks to look through, so I hope that you enjoy. Before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to check out patreon.com for sideboard guides if you want those. You can also get early access to videos on the YouTube page, so you might see something like this a little bit ahead of time. This covers from August 10th, the week of August 10th, to the week of ending September 6th. Now, September 6th, by the time this comes out, will be like a little bit outdated, but this does give you a big chunk of data, and we can see if there were any trends. So right now in those 4 weeks, I actually split out Mono Red Madness and Rally Red to be two different decks. They would take out 20% of the metagame if you combine them. They're not exactly the same decks, so you should be prepared in a different way. Mono Red Madness, the most trophies at 71. Then we have Mono Blue Terror and Rally Red behind, but Jund Wildfire behind that. Jund Wildfire was really taking, let's see. Okay, so it started out strong and then it kind of petered out. Another thing you're not seeing here is Spy Combo. So Spy Combo started at 13 decks. Whoop, there we go, 13 trophies, and then 6, 5, and 0 in the week ending on the 6th. I think what's going on is that people are over preparing or like mega preparing for Spy Combo, and people that are playing graveyard based decks are just not able to get it done anymore. There's just Nihil Spellbombs out the wazoo. So we have Jund Wildfire following it up, then Elves, Green-Black Gardens, Black Sacrifice, Spy Combo. Black Sacrifice has also really changed in the last few weeks. We started at 7, there's 10, 5, 7. If we go back, there weren't really Black Sac 5% and not even hitting the metagame. So I think what's going on is that people kind of recognize that it's a good deck. Also, you have the Perigee card that gives it 8 supernatural staminas. So they are actually very strong at getting the supernatural stamina engine online. The main decks to prepare for in the metagame, obviously we have the burn decks, Madness, Terror, Rally Red, Jund Wildfire. We went through all of that. Borosynth is kind of in here, which I thought was funny. Red Black Madness has really fallen off, 3% versus 12%. People are just not playing that deck anymore. Mono Blue Fae not really being played. Affinity either. Dimir Terror is kind of coming back. And that kind of covers the top. One thing you should see is this. Arcane Tide, which you can't see here, is 2.2% of the metagame in the trophies. People are really either just not playing it anymore or it's just not succeeding. I think that it is actually that it's not succeeding. And I think personally that it's due to the fact that we have so much burn on the top as well as Mono Blue Terror, because these burn decks can pack 8 Hydroblast or 8 Pyroblast post board, and then you have Jund Wildfire, which is really trying hard to just over prepare versus Tide with 4 Duress, 4 Pyroblast, and 4 Refurbished Familiars. So that's the metagame. Let me know if you have any interesting things to say about the metagame specifically. Let's check out some decks that have changed a little bit in the past few weeks, and then kind of go through some newer decks and some spice. So the first deck that I wanted to pull up was Spy Combo. Cortez Monaro 5-0'd with this. It looks like the same deck as usual, but there's a secret tech. So you have 4 Elvish Mystic, 4 Llanowar, and 4 Ceruli Caretakers. That's a lot of 1-drops. Then you have Overgrown Battlement, which cares about walls, and Priest of Titania, which cares about elves, with 3 Quirion Ranger in the main deck. But this is not Elf Spy. They're not playing Timberwatch Elf. They're going straight for the combo, and this actually means they have more 2-drops that produce a ton of mana, which I thought was a pretty smart way to get it done. The next deck to check out, this is kind of funny. This is Grixis Affinity by Dave Save, and they're basically playing Chonker Affinity with 4 Enforce or 4 Gear Seeker. I thought that was cool. They're playing 2 Cryogen Relic and 4 Ichor Wellspring, so they've incorporated Cryogen Relic into their deck. We have a Dimir Terror by Carves. This isn't exactly new, But something that people hadn't really seen too much is this is a mono blue terror playing a singleton contaminated aquifer with 4 sneaky snackers in the deck. And they can put it in the graveyard with careful study or using the brainstorm plus mental note thought scour combo just to put it in the graveyard. It gives them more, probably more versus something like a an edict effect, and it also could be good against, you know, go wide decks. I don't know, maybe not. This is a Grill Ponza by Sizors. I just thought that, I mean, nobody likes Ponza, but maybe you do. They have 3 suplex and 1 reclaiming vines, so 4 ways to deal with artifacts in their main deck. And a cool card here is Thunderhead Gunner, which I'd not seen before. It's from DFT, and it says reach. It's a 4/5 for 5, and you can discard a card to draw a card once per turn, and only on your turn as a sorcery. So that's a way for the Ponza deck to like not flood out quite so bad, which I thought was an interesting improvement. One of the newer decks that's been in the metagame is the black-green Food Pest. So this is playing Pestilence, which is many people's favorite card from back in the day, and using 2 Cauldron Familiar as ways to always keep the Pestilence alive. They are playing 4 Cast Down with a singleton Go for the Throat as their 5th Cast Down effect, which is kind of neat. Somebody asked about whether or not Go for the Throat was played in Pauper. They was on Reddit. Now let's move into some other decks. Burn. So Data Pusher has a version of Burn here without playing any of the pingers. So no Kessig Flame Breather and no Gutter Snipe. They are playing 16 creatures though with Clockwork, Tomb Raider, Epicure, and Sneaky Snacker. They have 10 draw spells to discard the Sneaky Snacker with the new Melded Moxite from Edge of Eternities. They have Grab the Prize, Demand Answers, and, well, 16 bolts in the deck, which is quite strong. We have another mono red deck. This one's by Pafru. I just thought it was interesting because they're playing Rally Red here, and it's really a Goblins version of Rally Red, playing Blast Runner, Bushwhacker, Tomb Raider. They have Mog Raider in the deck to turn on their Blast Runner, and they have Keldon Marauders, which is a 2-drop that you could potentially cast off of the Burning Tree Emissary, but they're still playing a few Rally the Hornburg, just 2. And a Highway Robbery here. They've gone all over the place. This looks to be more of an old school burn deck where they have no card draw. They're just trying to sequence and destroy their opponent. The next set of decks that I wanted to check out is the Abjure decks. So Serpico here, Serpico 94, they have an Abjure that is playing Refurbished Familiar in the main deck, Sneaky Snacker, a Philagi Archaeologist. So Philagi, Snacker, the bird tokens from the Mystic, and Hard Evidence, as well as the Modern Age. So very, very many ways to play your 3 Abjures in the main deck, plus 4 counterspells. So this is just a hard Dimir control deck. This version of it from Mickey Bear 96 is not playing any artifacts. It's almost the same deck, but they have 4 Abjure, 4 counterspell, and then 4 Cryogen Relic. I believe the other deck was playing Cryogen Relic, yes. So this is a little bit different from the other one. And then we have an evolution of that deck going back to the Dimir Fae or the Dimir Modern Age version, but they're not playing Modern Age anymore. So instead they have Snacker, Spell Stutter, 4 Counterspell, 4 Abjure. So this deck has 12 counterspells, which is absolutely nutty. They have Forlorn Revealed, 4 Cryogen Relic, and they have Eviscerer's Insight to draw. It just feels like they overwhelm you completely. I think this is one of the better Dimir control decks in the format, probably. And then we have a crazy version of an Abjure deck. This is from August 14th. This person took Familiars and gutted it for an Abjure version. So 4 Abjure, 4 Counterspell. They're playing Tune the Narrative to get energy and Jolted Awake. They have 2 Arcane Answers and then 2 Ephemerates with no flickers. Lots of weird one-offs like Moonsnare Prototype, Cryo Shatter that they can get back with 3 Jolted Awakes. And actually, Jolted Awake combines so well with the Philagi Archaeologist. That is really cool. Singleton Piracy Charm. Seems like they were trying out a bunch of weird stuff. But, you know, that was a walk through the Abjure decks, which are kind of cool. Now we have a Black-White Gates by Rash. I think they've trophied a couple of times. But this is like a Black-white food gates, Cauldron Familiar style. Very interesting. They are incorporating the new nutrient block from Edge of Eternities, I believe. Yep. They beat the crud out of me when I was playing Cycle Storm with their Nile Spellbomb, 2 more Nile Spellbombs, Fairy Macabres, Okiba Gangs, and they were super prepared. Here is a version of Terror, which is kind of silly. You're like, oh, this is just mono blue Terror. Oh, nope, scroll down. This is green blue Terror. They're playing Malevolent Rumble and Grapple with the Past to put cards in the graveyard. Monstrous Emergence, let's see. Deals damage equal to the power of your creature you control to, or the card you reveal to target creature. Bite down on crime. You can collect evidence 6 and then bite on something. So it's kind of like mono blue Terror with more cantrips that dig crazy hard. So no mental note and no thought scour. I wonder if that makes it cheaper. Doesn't seem like it's that much cheaper. They also get to play Deglamour, Weatherstorm, and Vitu-Ghazi Inspector. Here's a new version of, let's see, we have another one over here. I'm going to move this over. So we have Jeskai Synthesizer from Eric Cartor. This is basically Boros Synth playing Cryogen Relic. So they didn't do anything other than Boros Synth, but they put Cryogen Relic in, and they have Blue Elemental Blast, because Cryogen Relic is so sick with this deck, and also a synthesizer. I love it. But they are playing 3 Springleaf Drum to be able to power that out. I tried playing this for a video. It didn't work out super hot, but our opponent, I mean, this player seemed to have figured out the right sauce. And that evolved into an Esper affinity. So this one from Oliver Jukes, playing 4 Hawk, 4 Skyfisher, 4 Refurb, 4 Mirror Enforcer, and not playing any number of synthesizers, just the Cryogen Relics. So the Hawk Skyfishers can pick up the Refurbs or the Cryogens for a bunch of value. Plus they're playing Grimbauble for value, Tithing Blade for value. It's sort of the evolution of the Orzhov Blade deck. Let's look at some other archetypes. This is a red-green Dredge by the Daddy. I covered this in a video. They're playing basically a mishmash of the green Dredge and the red Dredge in order to play 8 of the Wayfinder Town Greeter effects, plus they're playing Faithless Looting and Cathartic Reunion. They have the Sneaky Snackers to come back, and they have the Molten Gatekeepers. They told me that when you pilot this deck, you really want to be slamming your Say Wayfinders and Town Greeters earlier and saving your card draw for later once you have the Snackers in the graveyard, which that does make sense. The evolution of the regular Dredge deck, this was presented by Marzaboy, I think at first. They did well in a challenge. They have cut the Troll of Khazad-dûm from the deck entirely. And this person, Coca-Cola Cow, was able to trophy with it. So they're playing 4 Forest, 4 Holdout Settlement. Holdout Settlement taps an untapped creature you control to add a mana. And then this allows you to play Colony Garden, which is a land that also gives you a creature, making your Dread Returns easier to cast. Survivor's Encampment does the same tap, and you have Thriving Moor to get black and whatever color, I guess black and green. I am not sure why this is Thriving Moor, so if Marzaboy wants to comment, that'd be cool. But I guess they have a bunch of red cards in the graveyard, or the sideboard that they want to cast. Molten Gatekeeper again. This is cool. I guess it's more streamlined and easier to win with. Now we're starting to get to the spicy decks. We have Rakdos Burn by Frogel. So this is mono black Burn playing 4 Blightning. Pretty sick. They also, because they're playing red, they can flashback the Bump of the Night. Moving up, we have Tron. So this is Jund Tron by Aishinez. We've seen Jund Ekdal Tron before, but they're playing 4 Prophetic Prism. Nothing too spicy, but it's just crazy to see that thing still making waves. This one is Dimir Affinity by Unsure, longtime Pauper player, I believe. They're playing the one that spits out creatures with Ethereum Spinner. Whenever you cast a spell with CMC 4 or greater, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token. And the rest of their cards almost all cast more than 4. So all their creatures, they have Thoughtcast to do that, and never mind. It's just their creatures. But Metallic Rebuke in the main deck can maybe give you some play, and they're playing the Cryogen Relic with Fanatical Offering. And Fanatical Offering, I guess, here specifically so that they can ping you with the Pactol Terror. But maybe it would be better to play the Eviscerous Insight just because you don't have that many other card draw spells in the deck. Not sure. We have 4 decks left. This is a black-red burn deck from Van 3. So I thought this was interesting. 4 refurbs. They have 4 galvanic. I can't tell if it's a burn deck or a control deck, because they have 4 cast down, and then they have 3 corner by black mages, plus 4 black mages rod, and 4 red rages rapier. There's just so many things going on here. Wellspring here. So they have a lot of ways to just turn the corner and blast in, but they can also just be a control deck. Campfire makes me think it's definitely a control deck. Interesting. So what do I think is the spiciest list? Probably that one. Okay, we'll go up. I'll give Bryant Cook 3rd place on the spiciness. This is Poison Storm. Now what he did was he said that he cut the Lotus Petals for Thirsting Roots, and he's playing Manamorphose. No Everflowing Chalice. So Thirsting Roots helps fix your mana base. It's also a 1 mana proliferation, which is very good. 17 lands with 1 forest, 1 mountain, and 1 swamp, 2 islands. So you can search up your Pyroblast for a post board or your breath weapon. That's pretty solid. He did have a video on it if you want to check out the Epic Storm on YouTube. Metamorphose and Snap both help create a big weather storm turns, and just blast people. Get some fast wins. This deck is much, much, much better with Thirsting Roots if you have more Pentad Prisms in play, because Pentad Prism, if you have 1 or 2, it can be like a Dark Ritual, which is very good. The next, number 2 on the spiciness, we have a red-green Madness Burn, and it's just Madness Burn playing Basking Root Walla. But come on, you got to give it to them. They have Lava Runner here instead of playing Tomb Raider. So it's kind of similar to the other Tomb Raider deck, but they get to play 4 Fire Blast, which I think that the 4 Fire Blast is much more fun. They have 4 looting, 4 grab, 4 Fire Blast. So only 8 draw spells, it looks like, with the 4 Epicures. And then they're playing 2 Scrapwork Mutts. I suppose that does give you a couple more draw spells. And then the spiciest one, Mono Green Stompy by BNP. I have seen the Cloakwood Swarmkeeper tokens deck, but not seen an experiment one version yet. This one is playing like a go wide Stompy, but also token strategy with Nest Invader and Repurposer. They have Jewel Thief creates a token. Troublemaker Oof as a 1-of. Ferocious Werefox creates a monster roll token, and it's a 4 mana 4/3 trample. Let's see, they've got Brave the Wilds, Hunger the Howlpack. That is a classic for Stompy. Tumbleweed Rising, 2 mana to create an XX elemental token. Basically copies the greatest power among creatures you control. So if you randomly pump up a creature with like Hunger the Howlpack, you'll have another giant one. And you have Rancor. Yeah, that's a cool deck. I love it. I haven't seen Mono Green Stompy in quite a while. And it's only 11 tickets. Welcome to Magic Online, everybody. Just pop in with Mono Green Stompy. All right, let me know what you thought about this Decks of the Week / month video. Hopefully you enjoyed a look into the Pauper format. And I hope to see you in the queues. And I'll see you in the next video.